Let's see, things to do today. Record a video and post said video on the interwebs. So that's what I'm doing right now. Well, if the last couple months are anything to go by, apparently I need a to-do list that says record a video and post it. Because otherwise it's not going to happen. I'm not the only one struggling with this. I've seen some folks on Twitter sort of mock grumbling about summertime and how they're sort of abandoning their carefully honed content creation habits and running off to the beach or whatever. Which I guess if you're a vlogger, you could create a vlog about going to the beach, but you know, if your jam is blogging or recording a podcast, that's not gonna work. Although, I mean, I guess you could record a podcast at the beach. You know, I'm already totally rambling, and that's what this video is gonna be. I have no notes, I have no script. I don't even have my main set up. I'm just here in the middle of the room, messy kitchen's in the back. I'm thankful it's blurred out because if it was sharp and you squinted, you could see my horde of messy dishes. So this is the raw, unfiltered me today. I did want to talk a little bit about what I've been trying to do / struggling with when it comes to essentialism lately. You know, I've talked in the past about how it's important to say no to a lot of different things in order to say yes to what's really important. But that trick doesn't work if you don't actually know what's important. If you don't have something to say yes to. And I think this is a problem that some people struggle with. Sort of a big picture question of why? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do with my life? What really matters? And if you don't have a clear answer to that, you're not gonna know what to say no to and what to say yes to. You're not gonna have any grid by which to compare all the different things that come at you. So that's kind of what I've been struggling with lately is really trying to get down to the core of what is really important to me for the rest of the year as we head into fall, what to focus on. And it's not just a matter of saying no to some things and yes to a few things. It's really a matter of trying to find out what resonates. Because if you really get a bee in your bonnet, if you find an idea, a creative outlet, a pursuit that really grips you, that really kind of just gets a hold of you, and you can't stop thinking about it, night and day, you start dreaming about it, you just, everything in your brain starts to work overtime to kind of move forward on that, you're gonna figure out how to do it. Like, you are gonna know, you are just going to know what you need to rearrange in your life to make that happen. So those times when you're just on fire, it's much easier to say yes to that and no to some other things. But when you're kind of ambivalent, when you're kind of like, well, that's kind of an interesting idea, but this is also an interesting idea, and that's also an interesting idea, and you just kind of, your brain's just kind of fizzing, fizz. And it's just unclear what you should really commit to. That's really the challenging time. And no offense to Mr. Essentialist himself, Greg McKeown, in his excellent book, but I think the process for getting to that place where you really know what is gripping you and you really have a clear sense of that path forward, I think that's a much more difficult process than people are prepared for, and I think that process never really ends. Like you might go through this season of, oh, I don't know, and then get to the yeah, and go after that for a while, and then maybe you burn out, or maybe you kind of accomplish the thing you set out to accomplish, and you're like, what's next? I wrote a blog post recently that's kind of about that, what's next. It's called Getting Past the Pain of Starting Over. And it's kind of my thoughts on these points we come to in life where we have this big sort of what's next, and in a way it's like you have to start over. People in creative circles will call this the beginner's mind. You kind of have to take on a beginner's mind again. We all experience this in different ways in different times. Maybe it's a new relationship, maybe it's you finished college and moved back home. You're like, now what? There's just so many different things that can happen in life to kind of make us feel like life has hit the reset button and we have no idea what's gonna come next. And so it's this valley of indecision. So as an essentialist, you don't like being in the valley of indecision because you want to say yes to something. You want to say, yeah, this is the thing I'm focusing on. All this other stuff is distractions. It's not so important. This is the thing that's important. I'm going to do that. And so to be in a season where there's no that to say yes to, it can be disorienting, it can be very challenging. But for me, I am trying to come to peace in a way with that indecision and realize that sometimes you have to just take a step forward and just move towards something and you're not really sure if that's what you want to say yes to. So like video, for example, I keep wanting to say yes to vlogging and make it this regular thing, but it's just continuing to be a challenge for me because it's time consuming. And because, usually there's a lot of prep work if you have kind of a script, like the last video I did, the Your Valuable show, that was kind of product review. It took a lot of time to figure out what I was gonna review, what I was gonna say, how I was gonna film that. It took a while to film it. It took quite a while to edit it into a cohesive narrative that was visually interesting. So it was a lot of work, and at the end of it, I was not quite sure if I felt like it was worth all that effort. Like the video output I got relative to the effort I put into it, I don't know. So this is completely different. I set up a camera on my bar table and I pressed record and I'm just talking to you now. This is absolutely the easiest video you can possibly film, just a talking head in front of a camera, which is a lot of people on YouTube. So apparently there are audiences out there that like to just see people talk at a camera. So, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's just the season I'm in right now. The kind of videos I'll make is just me talking to you about what's on my mind. The summary of all that rambling is, if you don't know what to say yes to, and you have all these distractions that all seem equal, so nothing rises above the fray to say, this is what you should focus on, maybe what you should focus on is making peace with that. Maybe that's the work of the season you're in, to make peace with the fact that nothing is really climbing to the top, and so maybe you just try a little bit of this and a little bit of that and kind of dab your toes in that pool and dab your toes in this other pool and, find what resonates with you. Find through a process of trial and error what really starts to grip you and what really gets you excited. All right, that's all the time I have for today. Tune in whenever, and I will do another video like this for you. I hope you liked it.